All right, let's get right into it. What's unfolding in Iran right now is, well, it's a huge crisis. But what we're about to break down here is how this is so much more than just a domestic protest. This is a flashpoint with massive, and I mean massive, global implications.
To really get a sense of how serious this is, you just need to hear one number: 12,000. According to intelligence reports from the source material, that's the estimated number of protesters that were killed by the regime in a single, brutal 48-hour crackdown. It's a staggering figure, and it just shows you the life-or-death stakes on the ground.
So, let's start there, with what's actually happening on the streets. Since late December, this massive popular uprising has just swept across the country. And we're not just talking about students here. We're talking about shopkeepers, business owners, everyday people who've been pushed to the absolute brink. And the government's response? Just a wave of unimaginable violence.
And you better believe the world is taking notice. The United States put out this urgent warning for its citizens to get out of Iran, like now. The German chancellor made this incredibly bold statement saying that Iran's last days have begun. And then you had Donald Trump tweeting to the protesters that help was on the way. So the international community isn't just sitting on the sidelines watching, they're actively picking sides.
But this isn't just a physical battle being fought with rocks and bullets. This conflict is also a super high-stakes war, and it's being fought on a digital battlefield. As the regime tried to literally pull the plug on the internet, technology became this critical weapon for both sides. The protesters, they had a crucial lifeline. See, after the government shut down the regular internet, Elon Musk's Starlink service stepped in and provided satellite access. This was a total game changer. It allowed organizers to coordinate through chats and calls, blocking major roads and mobilizing across huge cities. It really was the digital backbone of the whole uprising. But the regime had a powerful countermove, and it was supplied by its international allies, Russia and China. It's called the kill switch. It's a piece of tech designed for one single purpose: to jam that satellite internet and plunge the entire movement right back into darkness. So how does this actually work? Well, think of it like this. You're trying to talk to a friend who's, say, 50 meters away. Starlink is your clear voice. The kill switch, that's like someone standing right between you, just blasting incredibly loud music. It floods the air with so much noise, so many fake signals, that the real signal, your voice, just can't get through. It's a devastatingly effective way to shut down all communication.
And that right there, that brings us to the absolute core of this whole thing. The kill switch, provided by Russia and China to suppress a movement that's being encouraged by the US, it just reveals the truth, doesn't it? This isn't just an Iranian crisis anymore. This is a hidden proxy war being fought on a global chessboard.
So the crucial point is this. The lines are drawn. It's crystal clear. On one side, you've got the United States, enabling the flow of information to help the protests grow, and on the other, you've got Russia and China, providing the tools of suppression to protect their ally. It's a classic clash of interests and ideologies, with the people of Iran caught right in the middle.
But why? Why are these global superpowers so deeply invested in the fate of Iran? To really understand that, we need to look at this complex web of interests and the incredibly high stakes for every single player involved in this game.
Okay, let's break it down. For Russia, Iran is a key partner, right? It's supplying those Shahhed drones for the war in Ukraine and helping them sell black market oil. For China, it's all about cheap energy. They buy 90% of Iran's oil. The US, on the other hand, wants to put in a friendly leader to blow up these alliances and cut funding to groups like Hamas. For Israel, the goal is pretty simple: stop Iran's nuclear program. And finally, you have rival Sunni nations like Saudi Arabia, who see a golden opportunity to weaken their main competitor in the region.
So with all these competing interests, all this pushing and pulling, the outcome of this crisis is going to create one of two drastically different futures. And not just for Iran, but for the entire world. The stakes, honestly, could not be higher. Let's look at the two paths forward. Path number one, the current regime survives. If that happens, Russia keeps getting its drones, China keeps its cheap oil, and funding for terrorist groups keeps flowing. But path number two, a new US-aligned leader takes over. Suddenly, all of that could be shut down overnight. Russia's war machine would take a huge hit, China's economy would feel the pinch, and a major source of global instability could just vanish. The ripple effects would be felt absolutely everywhere.
So where does all this leave us? Well, the whole situation is balanced on a knife's edge. You've got Russia and China propping up a brutal regime, while the US is pushing for change from the outside. The path forward is completely up in the air.
You know, what's really interesting is that the source material points toward a third possibility, one that breaks this whole superpower standoff. It suggests the ideal outcome is a new liberal leader who is neither a religious extremist nor a U.S. puppet. The focus would finally shift inward to the needs of the Iranian people, creating a truly independent Iran that's free from all these foreign masters.
And that leaves us with the final critical question, doesn't it? After all these decades of struggle and interference, will the future of Iran finally be decided by the millions of its own people fighting in the streets? Or will their fate once again just be another move in a game played by global superpowers?